Before we get into today's video, I want to thank our patrons on Patreon. Thank you to Linda and Sophia. If you would like to be a patron on Patreon as well, you can hit up the link down below. The money goes towards the Christo-Pagan church that we are starting here on YouTube. If you would like to support this channel in other ways, you can do so by hitting up the eBay link down below. That is my business. It keeps the lights on, keeps the channel up and running, keeps food in my stomach and all that good stuff. If you do not have the funds to support this channel, but you would like to do so, you can hit up the subscribe button right down there. You can hit up the bell notification also right there. You can hit that like or dislike button. It all appeases the algorithmic gods of YouTube. All hail the algorithmic gods of YouTube. And if you've done all that, and if it is safe for you to do so, you can consider sharing this on your social media platforms. Now, to today's video. Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich with your Tarot Talk Tuesday, getting right into the Ten of Pentacles. We got our image right here, and we have our pictorial key of the tarot coming up. Should be up there. There we go. Okay, which reads, a man and woman beneath an archway gives entrance to a house and domain. They are accompanied by a child who looks curiously at two dogs accosting an ancient personage seated in the foreground. Okay, I don't think those dogs are accosting. I think they are begging, possibly just wanting pets. But, yeah, whatever. The child's hand is on one of them. Okay, yeah. Definitely petting the dog as children are prone to do. Divinatory meanings: gain riches, family matters, archives, extraction, the abode of a family, reversed, chance, fatality, loss, robbery, games of hazard, sometimes gift, dowry, pension. I don't think I agree with the reverse meanings. I kind of agree with the upright meanings. We're going to go ahead and get rid of AE weight there and make this a little bit bigger. A couple things I want to focus on before getting into my notes and everything. A couple things that I noticed here. I never noticed that the archway itself has flags on it. I do like that. That shows some security, some regalness, some nobility, possibly of this family, that they have like a coat of arms, a flag that's specially made up and whatnot on their dwelling. Assuming that this is their dwelling. We are not, of course, sure that this is their dwelling, but one would be prone to think that. It appears to be a family of sorts. You have parents and a child and a grandparent and dogs and whatnot. Looks like a household of 3 generations and, you know, little 4-legged individuals there. So, you know, it looks to be a very nice close-knit type of family. Now, if you look at the pentacles and the way that they are positioned on this card, you can also see the tree of life. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're looking at this card, and whenever you're studying you know, Golden Dawn, ceremonial magic, something of that sort, or even the Kabbalah in general. Is the tree of life design. You have the 1 on the apex, the 2, and then the 2, and then the 1 on the apex, the 2, and then the 1 and the 1. So, yeah, we're gonna just glance over that. And I have seen this come up in Rider-Waite-Smith clone decks. Sometimes it doesn't include the shape of the Tree of Life, but more often than not, I have seen that. So something to keep in mind whenever you're looking at this card, the connection to the Tree of Life and the progression from the material world, the here and now, to the upper realms of divinity and whatnot. Uh, Moving on to the notes, you have reached the point of completion and accomplishment in your journey. This is one of those cards that promise everything will eventually come together and you will be proud of everything you have achieved. The grandparent figure in this card seems very pleased with the world that he has formed, or that I would assume that this is a gentlemanly figure. Looks like a beard. It doesn't necessarily mean gentleman, but this individual seems to be pleased with the world that he is surrounded by, the world that, assuming the through line of the 1910 thinking, is that he has built this up and is, now resting on his laurels and appreciating everything that is around him. He's appreciating his achievement. Moving on, you are surrounded by wealth and blessed with financial abundance. Again, you look at this card, you can see what appears to be their house has a big archway, all that stuff, denoting the security, because who has an archway? Usually you would have a fence with an archway, or a big wall with an archway. So you would think that that would be security on top of it, on top of having not only this appearing to be a big house behind them, but you also have this fortified wall around it. So you have abundance and the security with the wall and the archway. It is a card of commitment to a sustainable future, taking into consideration not just the short-term gains of a particular venture, but also the long-term benefits. Obviously, these individuals have worked to get to this point. This is not a short-term gain. This is not Six of Pentacles type of thinking, where you have a short-term gain of somebody giving you charity, but you also have the long-term sustainability of this house, and the security that is around it. You feel compelled to share your success with others to make sure they are well cared for as well. So in this, you have, assuming that this would be the grandfather's, domicile, you have the children and subsequently the grandchildren also living here. So he is, if we are to assume that this is his dwelling, that he is setting forth and giving this giving shelter to these individuals and making sure that they are well cared for. This is also a sign that the family is very important to you. After all, going with this train of thinking is, if he did not find them important, he wouldn't have them living there. So, your home life is happy. You can provide your family with the security they need. You are strongly connected to your family history and heritage. This, again, I would denote with the flags and the coat of arms that are on the archway. Family history and family heritage being important to you, a part of a long lineage that goes before you. So again, focusing on that, I would, if that is something that kind of hits in a reading for you, maybe you're doing a reading for somebody that wants to know what job that they should go into, and if this were to come up, I'd say, maybe you're looking into a healthcare field, or a field where you are helping others, and if those don't really connect or jive with that person. If they are more history based, I would say maybe they should be looking at family history and becoming a genealogist if that is something that appeals to them. This isn't a hard and fast rule, but it could help you in a reading if that is something that comes up for you. Um, sometimes with readings, not only, and this is one reason I do big, massive spreads whenever I do a reading, is that you don't always have a cut and dry with just one card. Uh, Having multiple cards coming up, if I saw this card and a couple other cards that meant family and togetherness, such as the Three of Cups, if that came up next to this or alongside this in a reading, then I would say, and we were talking about a job for this individual, I would say maybe something where people come together, maybe a party planner. If this doesn't jive with the person, maybe they're very shy, maybe they don't plan things well as far as logistically planning, then maybe talking through that, we would get to the point of family history. And whenever that would go off in their head and they'd be like, I've always found this interesting. Maybe I should give genealogy a try. And that would lead you down that road. Sometimes it's not a cut and dry whenever you're doing a reading. Sometimes you have to just talk through these things with the individual or, even with yourself if you're doing a reading for yourself. Moving on to the reversed, it is about wealth accumulation. You may question whether you want to live this way. In the constant, wanting to accumulate and striving to make ends meet and whatnot. Be ready to question your need for stability, security, and commitment in your life. This could be thinking of, for instance, if you're about to lose your home and this card comes up for you, you might want to question, okay, what is more important to me now? Is it more important that I have, clothes on my back and food in my stomach, or is it more important that I have this house that I cannot afford to live in? Sometimes these hard choices do come to us, and I've had these questions posed to me in my thinking and whatnot. But luckily for me, I was able to get out from under that, and I'm doing okay now. So but this is that type of question of what is truly important. Do you really need those 5 streaming services, or do you need cable at all? Can you just get rid of all cable and all streaming and just go YouTube and internet? Because to me, internet is a vital part of living nowadays. If I had to go down to just like my phone and that internet service, then yes, I would absolutely need to do that. But luckily, it has not come to that. So um, let's see. Um it may sound good on paper or it might be what is expected of you, but is it what you want? And sometimes, even though what you want it isn't necessarily what you need, and these are some things that we really need to question. And sometimes it's we want something, but we just want it because we're keeping up with the Joneses. Uh, for instance, I was going to get a new cell phone, and I'm holding it up and nobody can see it because the card was there. But I wanted a new cell phone probably about 6, 8 months ago. And I was still paying it down and whatnot. And I'm thinking about it and thinking about it. I said, you know what? I really want the 5G. They just released it in my area. But my now husband wanted a phone at the same time. He was, we were putting him on my plan and he ended up getting his phone. I said, you know what? I don't need a phone right now. I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay with this one. Turns out my phone is getting to the point where I can barely hear out of it, but I don't have that that many phone calls that I actually take. Usually I have earbuds in my ear anyway, or I'll just put somebody on speaker because it's just easier, or I can answer them on my watch. So it was a point of, do I really want this, or is it more of a necessity that I get a new phone? And it was more of a want of, that next gadget, that next, thing in my life, but I didn't really need it. So kind of passed on from that. Um, let's see. You may want more and more and more, never feeling satisfied with what you have. I think we can very much relate to that with, um, especially with how the media bombards us with ads galore of, you have to get this next big thing and whatnot. And really, we can be satisfied with what we have, and that's okay. And sitting in that okayness is just fine, as long as if we're, especially if we are saving up and progressing to a better life for ourselves in the long term. You may find you burn through your financial reserves as you desperately try to support this higher standard of living and are unwilling to downgrade, or even if your cash flow diminishes. Your feeling of self-worth may be inadvertently wrapped up in your wealth. Remember that your self-worth is not your bank account. Your bank account is something to sustain you and keep you going in life, but it is not your entire life. It should not be what your main focus in life is, unless that is a career for you. Um, unless that is something that you find absolutely enjoyable. A lot of people find that nerve-wracking. So I would suggest, focusing on finances as far as getting yourself set up to be sustained. And I think that is important for many of us to do. Not wrap ourselves up in our wealth and whatnot. So, moving on. You are experiencing challenges or setbacks. Sorry. You are experiencing challenges or setbacks with financial or job security and family stability. Sometimes we have these situations in life where we have a major life event where we either, are not financially secure, or something within the family has happened. Either somebody, has gone off the deep end. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes there's a family emergency where, or a health emergency where um, your stability within the family is brought into question within your life. This can happen whenever you have a death in the family, and now your world is shaken. You're like, okay, I thought I was stable. I thought I was okay, and I thought everything was going to be fine for a really, really long time, and now everything has been shaken. And that can be a very difficult time. And I implore people in these situations, especially, to reach out and seek help. It is okay to seek help. And last note here is, it is time to reevaluate your position and choose a course of action that will help you regain your sense of security and self-worth. Um, Absolutely, reevaluating your life and reevaluating how finances play into that is an important thing. Uh, I like to do this on a sometimes monthly basis, sometimes uh, a quarterly basis, yearly basis, especially is a bare minimum, because around tax time, getting all your finances and everything together and saying to yourself, okay, these were the finances for this year. How can I make next year better than this one, or than this past year? And that's a good checkpoint. Setting up those little checkpoints along the way throughout the years, or throughout the months of the year, is also a good thing to do. If you do it monthly, some people find that a little daunting. If you do it quarterly, it gives you a little bit more time. But reevaluating those at those mile markers of, okay, we did this well during this month or these 3 months. This is what we should be working on, and now that we have this down pat. So, stuff like that. And now that I'm married, we are actually talking about doing these things with a joint account, and having our own separate funds and finances for our own separate needs, such as our own wants and everything. And then I have a separate one for the business, but having a joint one for us starting in the new year. And I'm gonna have to do a video or a small video series on finances and some financial planning strategies and whatnot, because I think this is something I love to do. But my husband and I were sitting down and talking about, okay, January 1st, we need to put this much into our joint account. We'll still have X amount of money for ourselves. We need to have a breakdown of every bill that comes in, and the approximation of how much that bill is. So different things like that. And that can be a good way of looking at all of the little milestones and whatnot within the year, is sitting down once a month and creating your financial plan, doing a budget either once a month or once a quarter. Definitely, at very least, I would suggest once a year. But let me know down below if you'd like to see a financial series, a finance series on how to save and how to grow your lifestyle and whatnot. This is something I truly appreciate. I truly get a lot out of, especially with the business aspect and whatnot. So, yeah. I mean, I'm no financial guru. I don't have $1 million. I'm still living. I'm okay. I'm not hurting for money, but I don't have a large savings. And yeah, there were some unexpected financial hiccups this past year that I had to spend, a lot of my savings, not all of it, but a vast majority of my savings on. And I was very grateful that I had saved up for those types of occasions. So if you'd like to have me talk on that more in more in a more expanded video, then I will go ahead and do that. Let me know in the comments down below. But that's all that I have for today. And until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye.